Hello, welcome back to DNKS Legacy Productions. Today's topic is what camera is best for you when starting your media ministry. Well, if you noticed in our opening shot, we have a variety of different cameras in that shot because we use different cameras for different things. That's really the answer to which is the best camera for you. It depends on how you want to record your video and put them up for streaming on the internet. So let's get right into it and show you some of the cameras. These are some of the cameras, and actually one of them is a telephone, which is actually a good telephone. This is an older model, but this is just for demonstration purposes. It's a old Samsung S5, and actually I do use this as a camera. I have a rig that I hook it up to, and I don't actually have it around here, but I have a rig to hook it up to, and I use it as a roaming camera. Sometimes when I have all the other cameras in use, I use this to record the setup. I don't have to use it as much anymore because I have more than enough cameras now, so that I don't have to hook all of them up, even when we're doing a 4-camera shoot. The next camera is a DSLR. DSLR is a good cameras for your media ministry. These cameras, however, are made basically for photography, but they also can do video as well, and they do a good job at doing video, but there are some drawbacks. We'll get into that in a minute. And then we have two different kinds of camcorders. One is a strictly consumer camcorder, and one is a prosumer or going into the professional end of camcorders. There are some differences in these cameras, as you just from the looks you can tell there are differences, and they function differently, which is more important than the way they look. And different cameras are suited for different things. The DSLR camera is more for short form videos, where when you're shooting a lot of short clips, less than a half an hour, actually if you're shooting in 4K, less than about 10 minutes, and then you're going to put all of those clips together in post-production. The camcorders will both do unlimited time recording your video, so anything over half an hour, and it has to do more with some kind of tax regulation. It has nothing to do with the physical inside part of the cameras, other than the fact that because of tax laws, the DSLRs will not shoot more than a half an hour at a time, because then they will be considered camcorders and they will be taxed different. So that's the reason for that. It has nothing to do with programming or physical ability. It has more to do with tax laws than what the camera can and cannot do. Well, it can't. The DSLR cannot shoot for more than a half an hour. It will go to 29 minutes and 59 seconds, and it will physically cut off. That's programmed into the DSLRs because of those tax laws. The camcorders can also, they actually can record for more than a half an hour. So if your services or the part of the service the minister speaks more than a half an hour, or you're retaping a concert or anything of that matter, the DSLR is not a good choice. It has a great picture. All of these cameras actually do great pictures. This camera, even as old as it is, does 1080p and actually 4K on this camera. So they're all good cameras. They will all give you a good picture, but the biggest difference between these cameras and these two cameras is in the amount of time they can record. Now, another disadvantage to buying a that some of these cameras has is the DSLR, and well, this is harder to hook up to if you were streaming through a computer. This is harder to hook up in general. The DSLRs, all of these cameras, these three cameras here, all need a special capture card to hook up to a computer. The advantage that the prosumer camcorder has over to the DSLR and the consumer camcorder is, and it's a very important advantage, this camcorder will record internally and send the feed to the computer as well. So you can have backup footage of on the camera and your whatever you're recording on the computer. So you have two ways of recording at the same time. When you're running it through the computer, you can have the recording with all of your graphics, your lower thirds, and all of those type things on it. This will just record the raw footage, but if something happens on the computer and something gets messed up, you always have the raw footage as a backup on this camera. This camera takes good pictures, but it does not record and output at the same time. Neither do the DSLRs. DSLRs can come, and this camera actually comes with a mic, a mic output for your for an external microphone. This camera also has a mic output for an external microphone. This camcorder does not have a mic output for an external microphone. So that's another advantage that this camera has over that one. And actually some DSLRs will come with them and some won't. It all depends. It's the same thing with the two camcorders. Some come with an external mic. The more expensive ones come with an external mic, and the cheaper ones do not come with an external mic hookup. The advantage of an external mic hookup is that you can get the sound into the camera from the soundboard at the church. That way the sound and the video stay in sync. So when you're feeding through the HDMI cable, when you're feeding that to the computer and recording with the computer, everything stays in sync. Sometimes when you feed the sound separate from the video, the sound will not stay in sync because the computer processes the sound faster than it processes video footage, and you have to put a delay in the software, and that can be overcome with the software depending on the software package you're using to record. That can be overcome, and it can be overcome in post-production. But if you have the camera where you can input the sound into the camera and send the video and the audio out at the same time into the computer, you don't have those problems, and you don't have to worry about delays in the software or syncing it up later in post-production. So that is the main reason why I prefer a more expensive video camera. That and the fact that I can record on the camera and record to the computer at the same time. So in my opinion, the more expensive brand video camera is the better option for streaming church video, for your video, your media ministry at your church, because it allows you, it allows your workflow to be much more efficient. It allows you to not have to worry about things like sync problems between the video and the audio. It also allows you to have that backup video of your footage, so that if something goes wrong, you always have a backup. And things can go wrong. One of the things that happened to us recently, and it was my fault, and we've been doing this for almost 4 years now. I inadvertently pressed the wrong button on the record format in the computer, and I recorded in raw format, which basically was 20 gig when we finished recording. So the person that does the uploading and the editing of the video for our media ministry does not, we don't live together. He has his own house, I have my own house. Basically we just go to church together, and how we transfer files back and forth is not with a we don't transfer the cards, the SD cards. We transfer the cards using online in the cloud, and a 90 gig file does not transfer very well in the cloud. So we had a problem editing that video, except for the fact that because of the fact that this camera will record while it's sending out the feed, that camera saved the day because we had the backup footage. And I'm telling you this story not as an embarrassment to us, but to let you know that even when you've been doing this for a while, you can still make mistakes. Things still happen. So having backup footage is always a good idea. Just one click and the wrong setting could have been a disaster, except for the fact that we always back up all of our footage. So when I'm recording, I record on the camera and in the computer, so there's always a backup. If something goes haywire, if the computer dies or whatever, you press the wrong button, you always have a backup. And we have several other cameras that can give us backup footage. So that's why I prefer these cameras over any other camera, because it has less problems with syncing, because I can run the audio right into the camera and then run the audio and the video out into the computer at the same time in sync, so it stays in sync. So it causes me to, it makes my workflow after the recording more efficient, because then I don't have to worry about getting the video and the audio in sync. It actually makes the workflow more efficient doing a recording, because I don't have to, that's one less setting I have to check on before the recording. And the being able to have backup footage of whatever we're doing is a big help. So that's the advice I can give you on picking out a camera. Pick out a camera. Don't go with the cheapest consumer camera you can get. The camera is probably the first thing you want to get, because when you record, you can record those videos and upload them to YouTube. You don't have to have everything else. To start your ministry, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is get a good camera first, because that allows you to get good sound and good video. You can record it to your SD card and then upload from your SD card to YouTube, Vimeo, wherever you stream your content to. And that will give you a good quality content to stream. Then you can build on what you need after that. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and considering subscribing and sharing this video, and I hope it helps. If you need any more information, our email is in the is on our website and on our YouTube channel, so you can contact us and we'll be happy to help. Alright, have a great day. Thanks for watching.